Let's start. Hello, good morning, or good afternoon. Welcome to German Mobile Game Studios and Global Expansion, Building Success, because we really do have a lot to talk about today. I am Jamie Donalds from the company formerly known as Spytro Labs, now Twin Harbor Studios in Hamburg. We've made games like Supremacy 1914, Conflict of Nations, World War III. It's been good stuff. My lovely panelists, would you all like to introduce yourselves? Please, Chris.
Thank you. I'm Jeannie Oberman. I'm the director of publishing at Amigo. That is a German publisher. I think 25 years in the market, but I also have 20 years in the market working in different companies. Buga, Ubisoft, Big Points, different ones. So we'll try to be fun today and give share some community. Thank you for being here.
Nice.
Authentic.
Yeah, I'm Tom. Originally, I'm not that long in the industry, but something like 7 years now, and I'm growing a lot with the Games Academy, and get some experience also with Michael Liebe together with the Berlin Games Week, if someone knows that. And by side of the Games Academy, I'm responsible for Games Ground, also for marketing, and also a bit for B2C now. Yeah, there's a lot of things what I have to do. But also at the Games Academy, I'm doing almost everything from the student support, career support, because I think now a good network, I would say, and trying to support in every direction, from business development to marketing and so on. So a bit of everything. I'm not an expert, but I can share some experience maybe.
An all. There's no expert. It's just an all.
A jack of all trades.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
So I guess with that, because I mean, you said that you haven't been in the industry long. Well, I'd say 7 years is pretty considerable.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. Yeah, I would say so. But for both of y'all, what brought both of you to this industry? I know in my case, it was just being a lifelong gamer. So how about y'all? By the way, can y'all tell them I'm from Texas originally?
Mine is very interesting. I mean, I love to say that because I was a gamer, but it was something like life. So I'm originally from Venezuela, so my background was TV producer, and I worked in Venezuela at that time as a TV producer, but the situation, as maybe you know, my country is a disaster, and then at the time was I worked in a TV show, political, blah, 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 against the government, so the situation was really hard, and then again, a friend of mine from the university was like, oh, I'm talking about 20 years ago when the game were black and white Nokia, so we're talking about that. And my friend was like, oh, do you want to work with this? I was like, I have no clue, how is this? And I was like, me neither, but let's do it. So then I was like, okay, what about to put less resource my life to working against the government and go to something fun? And this is why I'm here, and 20 years pass, and I'm still here. I love the industry.
Yes. My way is a bit funny. I was head chef in a German-French restaurant a long time. Also, I got the training as cook. And yeah, of course, by side, the only thing you can focus and get into the flow is for me playing games. And I played games only to have my own focus to being in flow. I can recommend it. It's a book, a handbook from a guy called Csikszentmihalyi. I can really recommend this book. But what was a way, gastronomy, head chef, and then I was looking for something new and something new challenges for myself. And then I thought, okay, maybe I can good leading, maybe, I think. I got good feedback from my colleagues in the gastronomy, and then I thought, okay, I will lead teams in the games industry. And then I found the Games Academy. I studied by myself on the Games Academy and did by side a lot of events. And Michael Liebe, someone maybe who knows him, was a bit, he doesn't know it, but he was a bit my mentor. And I'm I'm really happy that he showed me a lot and gave me responsibility, that I can learn a lot from him. And then I get the foot directly in the industry, supported different kind of events, and after a few years of freelancing and so on, I goes again to the Games Academy, but now as team member, and then we found the Games Ground and so on, and yeah, a lot of stuff.
Excellent. And you know, with all these experiences in mind, I'd say that would you say that there's been something like a German school of thought in terms of game development, something that really separates German studios from those in the rest of Europe, if not the world?
I need to think.
I mean, what makes us as members of German studios, what makes our studios unique in the global market?
Yeah, and to be honest, I feel these days it's very hard to say that German studios have something like unique. I feel it's very globalization, and in fact, in the most German studio, there's people from every part of the world. So I feel the big difference is maybe the German mentality in terms of investment, conservative, more. So the way the German world is more kind of organized than other parts. From my experience, for example, working in Latin America and Spain. But I don't see there's something like uniqueness. It's true that you have in Germany the audience, for example, are more like simulator lovers. So you have specific things that are more like Germans. But I don't feel like there's something like you say, oh, this is because it's German. It's more like the methodology, how the people work, is a little different. But I feel it's just we're part of this global.
There's not the German vibe.
I think the only what she said also is the mentality. So to be on point as hell. So I'm also that kind of guy. I hated to be late and so on. But I think German mentality, it's the only one. I think they're not different. I would also say.
It's more on time and follow the plan, follow the plan.
Fucking organized. Out of the hell. Yeah, I love it.
You know, honestly, from my own experience, like I notice that whenever like we have like a set plan, we start deviating. I notice all my German colleagues start getting very nervous. They're like, that was not in the plan. That was not the roadmap. Yeah, but I gotta be honest, I think part of why I like it so much is the same way. But what I find very interesting as German studios is I at the very least in mobile, very rarely is our number one core market still Germany. I mean, in our case, I'd say we're definitely more so targeting Anglosphere tier 1. Would that be the same for y'all, or what would you say is the most important outside of Germany market for German studios?
In my experience, and at least in the studios I work, and in Germany specifically, tier 1 is still US, is the main target, and then Germany is the second one, then France, UK, but so Germany is Asia, but Asia is tricky because in Asia you cannot do it alone. You need to have partner in Asia to help you with the not only organization, even the business there. So you cannot go, especially mobile, you cannot go directly to Kakao. You need someone there to manage the
Tencent.
so this is why Asia I don't put in the tier 1 because it's part of them. Japan of course is interesting, but you need someone else. But if you as an independent studio want to work and your tier 1 is basically the tier 1 European countries, and Germany of course is the second one normally because revenue is just based on revenue.
And at the end it makes it easy to say, okay, we only need to localize, you know what I mean?
Localization.
In English, as example, then you have the own that language which supports a lot of different kinds of countries. So it makes it easy in this way, I would say.
Well, I thought it was very interesting what you were saying about Asia because very often when we discuss country tiers and the games industry, we basically have tier 1, which I feel like I gotta be honest, at least from a lot of what I hear, it's like Anglosphere plus France, Germany. and then you have tier 2 Europe, and then tier 3 is like everyone else. But it's true what, Asia is so huge. Would you say that in that sense that Asia is kind of like off in its own, completely different field?
Yeah. To go to Asia is something that you need to understand the culture, and it's also the culture is different between different countries in Asia. So you cannot go directly to China. We don't know anything about how the Chinese play. The UI is different. The monetization is different. It's pay to win. It's nothing comparable what you do the normal Western games. Also the other way around. I work in Bitcoin, and in Bitcoin I was acquired by Yuzu, that is a Chinese company, and they just want to take the game directly to the Western market, and it didn't work out because it's pay to win, and the Western player hate pay to win. So and also super crowd, all the UI is super crowded, and we love simplicity in Europe and the US. So and the other way around, you can go there with a very simple game. There are some companies there, they did, and you see a lot of Western games in China that have a good success. But it's complicated, so it's complex, and you need a team to understand very well the culture, the monetization, and have the contacts there.
And it is a lot of changes in the game itself, because you need maybe bigger or small text boxes, different kind of colors, because different meanings of colors and so on. I think it's tough.
I mean, everything, not just, it goes into more just localization. At that point, you're having to get into like color theory and culture and psychology even.
It's hard. So for example, we have an experience for some game that, in a game that we did the voiceover with AI. And in Asia, you cannot do voiceover with AI because the tone of the Chinese is not the same. And then the Chinese player will pay you forever.
But would you say that this is like, out of curiosity, like bring this back to the German sphere of influence, would you say that this is like say that this is a big mistake made by studios, especially here, especially as we see more and more in marketing trying to like, AI can do that.
You need to evaluate it because also in German, when you put some just Google translation things, put in the game, it's not going to make it. So and also for me, even with Spanish, I'm Venezuelan and I live in Spain 11 years, but all the time that I see some Spanish from Spain, and it was my husband. Like, this sounds weird, right? It's like, this is Mexico.
You need to be careful with AI. So
it's amazing tool, but you need to use smartly and don't rely on AI to do everything.
So going into this, because I think this is such an interesting facet of it as well. When expanding not even just to Asia, I feel like because I've seen companies do this, say you can go to markets like say Brazil. What would you say is the best way to approach from the marketing lens these, I guess it'd be international publishing partners or international marketing partners? What would be your advice for pursuing that?
Number one, of course, is try to know the market. So, of course, not only in terms of numbers, in terms of penetrations, you have like the basics for business, how to do business there. Secondly, localization is super important. You cannot put a game in Portuguese from Portugal in Brazil will fail, and the other way around. Is Brazilian Portuguese is not the same, so you need to localize with a proper Brazilian Portuguese. And then try to find partners there to help you, because even if Brazil is with Latin America, they have a lot of things in common. They also have if you want to really go deep, you should go and check, for example, Carnival is something super important for them. So you need to have Carnival as at one point for trigger your big events, for example, on your set. So I think it's, for one side, is do research about the market in terms of pricing, because Latin America have not the same power in acquisition for per person, let's say. So pricing wise, cultural theme, localization, and then try to partner with someone, local agency that help you to empower every opportunity you have for your game there.
I think isn't it also to check out if we are taking Brazil as example now, what is common or famous in that kind of population? So if you find a niche which is working with that country or with that kind of community, I think that is also a challenge to find out that kind of niche which is working in that population there. I think not every, as example, not VOV is not playing in every kind of population out there as stupid example, but is it also a challenge? I will ask questions now.
Yeah, of course. Not every game works in every country, every market. So yeah, for example, again, I come back to Germany. A simulation is one of the most famous and profitable genres in Germany. Yeah, simulation. But in Brazil, potentially, and Brazil is different. So the genres in Brazil, they are more like social people. So they love more like casual games where they can have more social interaction. So the genres work, let's say, everywhere, but you have some specific countries that have a specific taste for the cultural background that work differently, and also colors. So in Brazil, it's true, it's everything like my shoes. So so they don't like sad dark games. They're more like into happy games.
No sad beige.
Yes. That in Finland, for example, I'm totally sure they prefer more dark games. It's like together with the weather. So, sorry to someone from Finland here.
They're going upstairs and crying.
Sad beige games or sad beige children.
But I have to say, Finland have amazing games as well. Classic Clans from Finland.
The happiest country in the world by many indices, right?
Well, I want to see how they wish to the
And
happiness.
I remember right, also the birthplace of Angry Birds, right?
Yeah, Angry Birds, Classic Clans, so they're amazing.
So actually, on this interesting point, because we've talked about a lot of what works here, both with simulation and just anecdotally, like strategies type games, I think are very big in Germany. From y'all's experience, what would you say is like a dead on arrival genre for Germany, if there is one?
I don't know.
Like basically you try to bring this type of game out in Germany, and it's just you're almost guaranteed a flop.
Thank you. It's an interesting question. So,
Does exist something like this?
yeah, try to
Almost exists for everything in a niche, I would say.
But something that is not will be successful here. So, maybe, no, I think dancing game, like just dance, but no, I think German like to dance when they're drunk.
Let's dance, let's party.
And you're not party. I don't know, maybe, to be honest, I worked in the past with casino, but Germany was not our main thing. Maybe casino.
Casino could be nearby.
Yeah, because the people, German doesn't like, they love to save money. And this get cash is under the mattress. So I don't think so the casino thing, but maybe I'm wrong. Sorry.
Maybe
Somebody
someone
from
here
casino
has
here,
something
please
to
let
say.
us know. Yeah.
So we did an observation at Thomas Right Place to work there, and fighting games were the least popular
Oh, really?
category.
Really?
Yeah.
Fighting game like Street Fighter?
Street Fighter, for instance, our task was to
So British-
bring fighting games back into the German market because it was
It's
interesting.
so hard because we have integrated formats like Tekken and Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat and so on.
This is
And maybe that's why it's so hard.
exactly.
This is, this is so fascinating to me. To be fair, the only data I'm going off for being surprised on that is I always meet Germans at EVO. But, which is like big fighting game.
This is from 2021. So
Oh,
it is
wow.
also recent in that sense.
Wow, that is just amazing. I didn't.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
that's very
Very, very interesting. And fighting games have
It was it traveled a lot.
I don't know more about business money because I know that in Germany they have this culture to saving money, of course, for normal, logical reasons. But fighting.
So,
don't do fighting games.
sorry, German Street Fighter? No, not
Unless it's called Street Fighter or Tekken.
Yeah, or like German, I don't know, Darkstalkers, anyone here play Darkstalkers? Yeah, you get it.
Oktoberfest fight.
Yeah.
Oh, not bad.
I get it. So, on the actual like side of setting up studio, setting up operations in Germany, what would you say is the biggest hurdle? I know I have this written down, but I should really have afterwards, and it's like, and it should just be, and why is it bureaucracy?
Yes, so that, number one is bureaucracy. Yes, bureaucracy number one. Number two, to find people, because it's not easy to find employees that want to, you don't find in Germany, it's hard that people want to come. Because language, I think the first barrier is language. So this is hard. It's hard to find employees, as you don't find in Germany. I mean, especially video games company that you try to find people around the world. You don't really care if the people is local. But I think it's like in bureaucracy and like attract people to come.
But isn't it a mix also, I think Germans are willing to, of course, work here and also found here, but I think the big issue is to find someone who gives them money.
Salaries, you mean?
Yeah. No,
Not like startup funds.
publisher or
Oh.
startups and so
Yeah.
on.
I mean, you
That
have
is a big issue in
German
Germany.
funding, but German funding is
Yeah, it's almost a race every year again.
It's
Yeah.
complicated.
It's super hard that something like
Yeah.
Ubisoft is always grabbing 2 million or whatever.
Yeah. So normally indies don't get German funding. It's more like
Yeah.
established company. But again, because bureaucracy. So to ask for
Yeah.
a German funding, you need to prepare like a real bureaucracy papers and
You
processes.
need to make it
Yeah.
make it.
Yeah. And for indies it's hard because they don't know the process.
Yeah. Yeah, but we have good supporters there on that way. Of course, we have the MUB, we have MediaNet and so on. We have good supporters that on that way. Super nice people, but anyway, in every case, it's hard as founder to found here in Berlin, but not to found, but to survive the next 3 years.
Would you also say that goes into the stereotype where it's like, in terms of funding stuff, that German funding sources are typically very risk averse, especially so? Would you say there's some truth to that stereotype?
Maybe, yeah.
So normally as a publisher, I say is, and again in my experience, I would say my experience because everybody has a different experience. So German's company, they are really conservative in terms of investment. So they don't want to risk a lot, especially for projects. They are new and they don't have a good business plan and they don't have a sustainability plan. So they prefer to invest in something more secure. This is my experience. So the financial risk and investment is always linked to something that already has some proof that works. This is the first thing you're looking for, at least in my current position. I'm looking for games that are in the market for some time, or at least almost to go live, but they have a very solid business plan.
Yeah, definitely I agree.
Going through that as well, I know of course that we're here working in Germany, but if you had a chance to open up an office for your studio, would you choose to do that in Germany? Is there another place in Europe you would choose to do that? If you could set it up anywhere, where would it be and why?
Or should be the answer like finance advice? So then we could talk about Asia or Thailand or whatever.
I mean, we've already talked about Asia a lot. We can circle back to that. Circle back already.
In case of mentality, of course, Germany, I would do it, of course, here. But I think the trickiest thing, as again we talk about, is publishing, finding financing. If you don't have a venture capitalist or whatever, then it's hard.
So, I mean, I think a lot of companies is doing right now, like going to Spain to open companies, especially in Barcelona, because it's easy to find people who want to go to Barcelona. And I did the other way around. I came from Barcelona first day. The second topic is the salaries are 40% less in Barcelona than here. So then, financially speaking, it's easy to find qualified people that just, they don't care about salary, but they care that the beach is just fun. So I say if I have to open up another office, maybe I would go the option for Spain because it also taxes and it's easy. Maybe Berlin as well, because Berlin have this startup system that is also really good. But I don't definitely not go to Asia. No, openness again it's really challenging to open something there. Latin America again is really unstable. Starting to say Brazil, for example, if you want to open a company in Brazil, you need to have a partner, Brazilian partner. So you cannot go alone. No, you need to have a partner. Like in China, you can open an office if you don't have a Chinese representative and person from China. It's the same Brazil.
Fascinating.
What do you think? Should the people think about if they are, if example, in India or in startups founded here in Berlin, should people really think about to move?
No.
To think about to move to Spain or whatever because of less costs?
No, because I think the help, the support, financial support you get in Germany, you don't get in Spain. It's just for companies that are established and they want to open another extra studio. I think it's a good
Not
option.
found.
But no.
So what you're saying basically is if you're an established company but want to open a new office, go for Spain.
Yeah.
However, if you're a startup, even with the hurdles, Berlin especially.
Yes.
I do want to mention as well that there's also other spheres of this in Germany. I'm always looking for a chance to shout out Game City Hamburg because because they're great folks. So something that's very interesting in Hamburg, and I've noticed this with different companies, is on the whole, what I find very interesting compared to say when I was in Canada, where is German game studios overwhelmingly are very internally English speaking, compared to a lot of companies around the world where they will, the lingua franca internally will be the local language. Maybe coming from Canada, maybe Quebec is an extreme case.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking about a place that renamed KFC. But would you say that is to the benefit or to the detriment of German studios on the whole?
I know some German companies that are very traditional ones, and they still German is one of the main language. But in German speaking games, more English oriented. Just go to Spain, you cannot speak English there, normally it's Spanish what you speak. It's very hard for English speaker or German speaker go to, for example, Spain. So I think Germany is very international. To be honest, I don't know if in Bayer you have the same experience in Bayer studio. My experience is Hamburg and Berlin, and I have to say both is very international and English is the main language. But probably in a small town in Bayer, they would be different. But generally,
My experience is also good connected with Jaeger, and they changed last year a lot of things inside the company, and also they said that the office language is also now completely English. They want that people talk in German because they have international people there, and it would be if you're exclusionary, exactly. If you're exclusionary, some people. So I think it's a good way, and it's a good. I think it's a definitely good point in the German industry that we are all English.
I just have that quick anecdote. I was a friend of mine. He's an animator and he worked before in Playwrights, but he decided to quit because everything, all the documentation, everything is Russian. So they don't translate the thing.
Wow.
So it's really hard because the main language internally is Russian. So and it's a massive company, so it's very successful, but they have this kind of limitation in language that I feel like German companies are much better in this regard.
Inclusive.
Inclusive.
No, especially because I think the Spain example is really interesting as well because I feel like it's fair to say that major German cities in general, and very specifically major cities, our company actually originally started in Freiburg, and then when they decided to make English more of the office language, then they moved to Hamburg. So I can absolutely see that as well. So for handling all of this, no worries. For handling all of this, for navigating all of this from office language to setup to expansion, someone wants to start a new game studio. Someone wants to grow that from the ground up. Let's say they want to do it here in Berlin. What advice would you give them? What is the number one most crucial piece of advice?
So, I mean, yeah, you need to, number one, decide what market you want to go. And in terms of, when I'm talking about market in terms of countries, I'm talking about which audience you want to go and then define what type of game and genre you want to do. This is one of the things. And then, yeah, start small. Try to become all the time as you can more the return on investment perspective. So try to think small and growing slowly. So don't see like COVID will be forever the way of business that is happening right now. There are a lot of companies that is just have to cut because the COVID was just an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
So try to grow small, invest smart, and yeah, and try to make the people happy in terms of trust in their employees and give the employees enough, enough meaning for them to be loyal to their company.
I think, absolutely agree, yeah. But I think one of the most underrated things is, and we could talk about it, is marketing-wise, and I don't mean ads or whatever, I think community management is one of the biggest things what you need to check at the beginning of founding, and directly maybe have one person or a half person, you know what I mean, who taking care from the beginning about community management, from Discord service to answering on Instagram, doing TikToks, whatever kind of resources you can offer, and be authentic as possible with them. I think that is I talked with a lot of different kind of companies who had a big accomplishment and a big success on their release, but because of community management, because someone in that studio did it on day one and supporting the development with community management, showing, developing the product, and so on. And it is so important because you can't sell if you're not to have a Lottogewinn. I don't know this in English. If you don't have a Lottogewinn as example, you can't have the reach to sell after 2 years to be break even. So without the reach, without the community, I think that's one of the biggest things we need to think of. What do you think about it?
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. So the community management is something that, especially every day, I think getting more importance, even from the game that is not even the market. To be the community first before even you release the game is something very smart. But I felt like before to go there, you need to make sure what exactly is the piece of the market you want to go, and then adding the community management as one of the main engagement way for your games is super important. But first, you need to be clear what you want, because this is one of the mistakes for companies like, oh, let's do farming, but maybe we can do tomorrow RPG, and then you don't know exactly what you want. And then you probably get some very hard learnings if you don't define from the beginning at least some of the path you want to follow. Then of course in the path you can discover that some other pieces of the market that you can be good to. But I think to have clear idea and don't be crazy doing whatever genre and audience, that will be one of the key things.
I definitely don't want to judge, but on that one point, I think a lot of people are founding companies and doing whatever startup, and they are doing their passion program. that passion project. They are doing that while they are thinking, okay, I would like to do myself. I would like to do my dream. And that's completely cool. But the problem is on that, it's the most time, it's a niche.
Yes.
And what maybe you should think about is, okay, first we should save money and we should produce money with the first product, what we are doing. And that's maybe, I know it feels hard to say that, but understand me on that way. I saw a lot of studios which are founded and after 1 or 2 years they are quit to them out of the market because they did first a passion program, a passion project, I mean. And of course it's always a niche and it's always lucky to be accomplished with your passion project. So maybe you should think about, okay, how we can save money at first, then to make a passion project. I think.
Yeah, totally agree.
It's sad to say that.
I have also for me it was an honor, to be honest, when I work in Ubisoft Barcelona, we have a project, one artist, was his lobby project, and we have, was a strategy game, but was like Mad Max style game, but this one was with some flying ship in the desert, the Mad Max, but it was extremely niche. The art style, the monetization, and they have the project already, and I was the marketing manager of them, and they say, for you, do something. And I was like, how? How I can find audience for you, they make money. And it was an awful failure. I couldn't find enough people who like this type of game, this style of methodology, and I felt so frustrated because all the responsibility was on my shoulder, was like, for you, take it. So, and this is a recommendation. When you have a game, work from the beginning with marketing people, and don't build the game and then just take it to the marketing people because they will fail.
Would you say it's a classic case of like, you go to them and say, so what's your target demographic? Me!
Yes.
And it's like, wow.
It's totally sweet if you can say
Yeah,
that.
that's awesome!
That's the type of game that I love. And this is happening right now with a lot of indies that I love indies, but when you go to different indies studio and they show you the prototype they have, it's like, did you think in the market, no, it looks so amazing, yes, but who is this game will be for whom is designing? So it is,
The answer is me.
But at the same time, this is good because then the creativity, you need this creativity as well. This is like a very hard balance because then you are just do something like massive glory and getting money and not the creativity you lose at the history.
It's super tough. I saw also a passion project which was really well polished and they did everything what you can do in marketing. They work together with influencers. They work together. They started, but I think that was the issue. They started creating a community while the early access. And I think that was too late. But anyway, they work together with huge influencers which have a huge outreach. But that isn't the key. That isn't the only point what you make yourselves. And that is a sad one, of course, on one side, because it was a super, super passionate project. And my heart was bleeding because no salaries in the first week after release. Because it was super passionate and so on. And they tried to make everything right. But at the end, I think the issue was the community management and build up the community. But anyway, yeah, influences are not the how is it called?
End all be all.
Yeah.
I mean, especially the big influencers, I mean, aside, like more and more, at least marketing side, I'm noticing the rise of micro-influencers. Yeah. You know, like I'm talking about like your 5 to 10K great follower range. Going back to what you were saying about CM, because I'm loving that I'm hearing this, because I feel like CMs in general, I feel like they're unsung heroes in a lot of game companies and don't get given the respect they deserve.
Underestimated.
Underestimated, yes. What would you say, besides obviously not having someone in charge of CM at all, is the biggest CMing mistake someone can make, especially with a new company or a new project?
Unity structure.
Yeah. So the mistakes you mean from the CMs?
Yeah, community management, community building.
For the company or for the CM itself?
No, for the company in regards to it. Besides, of course, not having.
Yeah,
the same-
I think for the companies is underestimate the power of the CM.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically now everybody can answer the forum, everybody can answer Discord, and you need someone dedicated to do that. So you need someone the community feel like is the one who is engaged, who knows the game very well. So I feel like a lot of companies they underestimate, they feel like whatever trainee can answer, whatever trainee can do things. And I feel like at the end of the day, you want to have a good, healthy community, you need to have someone who's dedicated and know the game better than anyone.
I can give you the example of GamesGround as example. We are trying also to do a Discord community. We are trying to do a Twitch channel. So we are starting with it because we also kudos on Michael Liebe. He was supporting us with cool streaming setup. And you're all invited to come over. But anyway, it's super hard because it's so a lot. Don't underestimate it, marketing and of course community management. And of course we are a team of 3 people at GamesGround now as example who are taking care of everything around from PMs, press releases to social media to newsletter and so on. But all of us doing it by side and we are feeling okay we need full-time employees for that because it's not manageable by side and we can't grow a community and being and supporting them in every way and trying to reply on and answer and so on. It's super it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work and a lot of people underestimate it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and I feel like this is also a recommendation, and not only with the community management. I feel in the current times in every country, the situation, the economic situation is hard, and then a lot of companies decide to reduce costs as much as they can, and they put the people in every responsibility from marketing, from development, to do 10 things at the same time, and it's not only challenging for the person that they do this, it's also it's putting on risk sometimes the whole business, because you cannot be good in everything and you can have enough time to manage everything. And this is a mistake that I've seen that is happening right now in many companies. They reduce cost is a policy, but they don't see the impact of the quality of what is happening right now.
I think also transparency and the trust in person and so on. But transparency is, I think, one of the also one of the important things which also the Games Academy, as example now, we have built up. I would say not huge, but a good community on our Discord, as example, and we're trying to report them because we have a lot of supporters which are trusted in the Games Academy, and that's a good point. If we have a good mouth of word, then it's a lot. We have such a strong brand with the Games Academy. That's huge support there.
So as we're just about to hit the last 10 minutes of the panel, I want to segue into one more question before we open up to all of your questions, which of course is, bringing this back in, how would you say, like I had one planned originally, but the CM topic has been so fascinating to me. How would you say that CMing can help in terms of approaching game development, game publishing through a global lens, not a strictly German lens?
Yeah, so companies, big companies, for example, you cannot have one CM to manage all the market. You need to have a CM per market. It's the most smart thing to do. So then you cover every particularity from the market. So you can have the German CM to cover the Americans plus the Brazilian plus you need to have enough people and enough team. I know that it's challenging for companies that are not big, but at least to have the main market for you. And you say, okay, my main market is US and Germany, so try to find someone that is native English speaker and native English German speaker, and yeah.
Yeah. So, any questions from home? You've been a great audience.
So, obviously this is also part of, I need to do my own research part, but I chose Berlin specifically to try like an open English studio. I also realized, I actually met Tom a couple of years ago. He gave me the same example of the Make Your Passion project. So I... No, I did. Thank you.
Of this.
Thank you.
A recurring
I did a casual movement bot mobile game.
Yeah.
And my aim overall was always to try to grasp towards the German fonts, specifically from the Liederspiele Stiftung, or there was a couple of startups in the White Rabbit Residency, a lot of like startup incubator bars. Is that something that you would still overall just recommend to always aim for, as I'm trying to reimagine what kind of games I could actually make to actually for my own game studio, focus on a market that is actually reachable. I already have the audience, the target audience, but I seem to just be missing either like, am I applying to the wrong grant? Am I reaching towards the wrong funds? Or overall, it's I'm trying to understand how to better have a grasp on those wonderful options that we have here in Berlin.
Yeah, definitely, I think if you want to start, you of course need some, if you don't have the money, of course, and I think it's very hard to have enough money to build a company these days. Yeah, definitely try to reach as much as you can this funding company. You have different, I think in Berlin also they have some, not only funding, they're leading, so they give you some money and then you can, at release, you can take the money back.
Yes.
So try to find this. But my recommendation is, if you want to do this, build a very solid business plan. So it's the most important for this funding, is to have a way they understand how you plan to recover the money, how you plan to monetize your game. So more than, okay, this is the beautiful look and feel of my project, it's a very strong business plan. But definitely reach them, because or you have this, or try to reach some venture capitals. But again, to be able to find these people, you need to do a really solid business plan. It's my recommendation. If you don't know how to do it, yeah, in the internet you have some help, ChatGPT, whatever. Or as people, I mean, I would be more than happy to help, because I know that it's, especially when you're new and you don't have an experience, it's hard to know how to build a business plan.
100%.
I think in any case, be prepared to fail.
Yeah.
Be prepared to fail and learn out of the fails and trying to get feedback out of it. Be open, same shit as we said earlier, be open and transparent. And if you're asking for feedback, and if you're asking why aren't we fit, why you think aren't we fit, ask for it, be transparent. So a lot of people are super thankful for that kind of, and you will learn a lot out of it. I know some people who did this adventure also alone and creating a company, and it was also from pitch to pitch and from elevator pitch to elevator pitch. You jumped from everywhere and failed a lot, and but that makes you growing and makes you learning. And I think it's be prepared for that. I think that is the most, and don't getting business don't be unmotivated out of it. Try to be motivated. Try to do, of course, your passion on one side, and the other side is your business, and try to spread it a bit. Try to be two persons in one a bit. Maybe that can help.
But fail with the money from someone else. So as
Impossible, don't use your own money.
don't do for your money. That's
Business
why I say ask for
101.
funding, ask for investor, and if you fail, you fail. But no, when you don't need to go the mortgage of your home or whatever. So just do it. Yeah.
there are a lot of supporters. Also, if you are trying to build your network on LinkedIn, as example, there are a lot of people, as example, Kyla, which you maybe met on one of our events, a Turkish guy, which have a lot of experience with that kind of peer-to-peer, really powerful guy. Or you can also, which I mentioned earlier a lot, Michael Lieber is also supporting Kickstarter, yeah, and so on. Try to get mentors, or also Jenny was offering it. Try to get mentors who are supporting you on that adventure, and then maybe on one point you will accomplish with it.
Thank you. 100% what I meant.
Yes, these have been 2 difficult years for the industry. Do you think that Germany was impacted the same way as the rest of the Western world, or differently? And what's your current sentiment towards the future of the industry?
So you mean the current situation, the economic situation?
Yeah, are you optimistic or pessimistic going forward? Do you think in Germany it's kind of different, it's better position or worse position going to kind of tackle what's in front of us?
Yeah, I mean, I think, to be honest, I think everybody, I don't feel like any country that have in a better position right now. I think every country have a struggle, but I feel like in Germany, they are more conservative again, so they don't like risk. And this is something that is, for certain parties, is kind of negative, because if you don't invest and you don't take any risk, you cannot grow. So yeah, I think Germans are really good supporting the whole chaos and holocaust around the world, because at the same time, because they are conservative and they normally have a lot of saving and they have any ways to maintain their status quo. But at the same time, I feel like German companies, it's really hard they grow, as you can see, for example, in the US, because they are extremely conservative in terms of risk. So that you will see a lot of Americans, they will take the hard situation and they make money for that, because they are the other way around. They are kamikazes with business. But yeah, but
I think I talked about it with Tom Putzky, and Tom Putzky is one of the persons who is almost 30 years in the industry, I would say, a long time, and you need to talk with him because he is super smart and supported from Gameverband until Gamescom and so on. He was the founder from Piranha only for information. And he said at the end, we are also generally in the economy, we have phases. We have almost phases, which are on one side, some years it's going down, like a market, like a normal market. And then we have a good phase where, which is a normal reaction at the end. If Ubisoft is quitting 200 people, and the people love the games industry, of course, a lot of people will found a new company, and that's give a new phase for being or having a better situation. I think, and that's to answer the end of the question, I'm optimistic. I think we have problems.
We have to.
Yeah, of course.
We have no other option.
Yes, we have to. And to be honest, again, I know that these days it's like a lot of darkness and the prediction of what is going on after Trump coming in the power and everybody's in madness. I feel like I'm very happy to be in this country right now, because even this mentality of conservative, at the same time that kind of stability, even you see like the failure in the business of the auto business, or the main business in Germany. I still feel like it's a stable country. It's really stable, but I need to be optimistic. I feel like everything will change, and
It's going to be great.
the orange, I don't know, it's great, but the orange line will die soon because it's old, and then we go back to the right place they need to go. So, I don't know.
I think which is also important, try to support each other. The games industry is so nice,
Yeah, I know that.
and the people are so supportive, and if you have the same problem like the people behind you, let's put the heads together and try to support each other. And I think that's the beauty of the games industry, that people are supporting so much each other. I'm feeling that with GamesGround, it's so cool, it's so heartwarming that the people are supporting so much each other. And you need to be open, and that's what I also said, be transparent, say that you have problems, say where you need support, and if the people say no, they can't support, then it is how it is, but if you don't ask, they can't know.
I really think the recurring thing with everything we've come today, from the CMing to this, is just community, you know? No, but seriously, I mean, I feel like if, you go with a startup and it's just you and it's just your passion project and you aren't sure who you're targeting, of course you're going to fail because you don't have the resources, you don't know how, and you don't have the support, and you don't even have someone to bounce your ideas off. So absolutely, no.
All of you live in Germany, or are you?
I'm a student here.
I am
actually.
still a student, but you live
And
here.
I just want to make a
Where are
comment.
you?
I'm from Poland.
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 Beautiful.
Germany.
I like Warsaw.
Oh, in Barcelona.
Me?
Yes.
And you?
No, I'm here.
Oh,
I'm
you're
from Toronto.
Greece.
Oh, no kidding. Canada.
Canada. Were you also from Canada?
Yeah, I'm from Victoria.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Direct connections.
No, I
See,
want
this is networking.
yes, and I want to just say, like, it's in very back on your question, is, I need to be optimistic, and I'm still living here. I lost the beautiful song and food from Spain, because here I feel it's going better, even if we don't have the amazing food and the beautiful weather in Barcelona. But in Germany, at least now, I have a stable, and then the neighbor also have a good opportunities with Germany. So, neighbor like Poland.
I just wanted to make comments about the fact that you said most gaming companies here speak English was such a relief to me. because I haven't started learning German yet, and that was just.
I think a lot, like some of the indie companies are still
Yeah.
very German, but like the bigger companies, for sure, it's like an international.
But they wouldn't have a problem with you if you only speak English. So it's, I've never met someone. Of course, my English is not the best. I'm absolutely agree. But the most of the people are super open. I've never met someone. No, we don't talk to each other.
Oh, I have.
I bet you as well. Really? Yeah.
I've encountered it a lot.
This is Deutschland.
Das ist Deutschland, wir müssen Deutsch sprechen.
Really? Yeah.
Was auch gehört, ja.
I think you only don't have this problem if you are German.
Yeah.
But I will say on the flip side, like most German companies I've seen, not only are they open to hiring like foreigners, I mean, especially more than anything else, where we keep talking about the need for skilled workers, but a lot of companies in Germany actually even offer like
German.
even partial subsidy for German.
I had a German class.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
But
Though I will say, even if it doesn't, like stopping using like apps and getting a private teacher was like the best thing I ever did.
Or Volkshochschule.
Yeah, Volkshochschule.
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 I want to say, and we connected that, and I leave you alone, guys, because it's been a lot. I'm sorry. When I'm working, I just arrived from Spain to Hamburg. My first week in a Big Point was a very German company, and then I remember, I don't know why, my mind screenshot in my mind the acronym was SS, and I sent an email to the whole people in the field like, oh, I will send the SS, la la la, and I heard like, oh, and then I was like, what happened? And I was like, you never say that again. I was like, but this is a screenshot. I was like, no, please. And then I was like, oh my god, I need to learn more from this. I feel so embarrassed, my gosh, because I feel like I come on, but yeah, this style I think you need to learn. I imagine in Poland maybe you have things that you cannot say.
Also localization.
It's also
Also, like there's so many regional things. Like we're a hamburger company, right? Like we say moin every morning. You say that at Gamescom, you're gonna get the dirtiest looks.
What? Why?
You don't moin someone in Cologne.
You don't?
I say moi to everyone.
Really?
Everyone gets
Moi,
moi.
Yeah.
Oh, you double moin.
I love moi. Yeah. Yeah, this is from her mom. I love moi and mansai. Mansai.
That's nice.
Mansai. So yeah. But
So-
then, yeah.
Danke everyone. Danke to our wonderful panelists. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. It was really for the Lord. Thank you so much. We're here.
Thanks for the